Welcome back to Chair Shot Reality. I am Josh Eisenberg. Follow me at Josh Eisenberg4 for all news information regarding WWE, live tweets, and so much more. So check it out at Josh Eisenberg4. This past Monday was the beginning officially in the change of one Matt Hardy. We have wondered and wondered when Matt Hardy would become broken, when the chants of delete, 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 delete would echo through arenas similar to what it did in Orlando at WrestleMania. We've waited and we have waited, and unfortunately a Jeff Hardy injury has derailed Matt Hardy. But has he been derailed or has he been woken? Matt Hardy's change is coming and you can see it, and time will tell how successful this will be, and I am very excited to see what Matt Hardy does with his broken gimmick in WWE. But he needs people behind him. He needs people to come after him. So what heels, what feuds will he be in, and what team can he put behind him to make some of these great feuds in WWE with Matt Hardy leading the way? Well, first off, I would not be against the idea of having his wife and Senior Benjamin a part of this. Make the family feel more deleted and broken than ever before. Bring them together, and we all know Rebby is very outspoken, but this time she could be outspoken and controversial for a great reason, for WWE and Matt Hardy's benefit. She's so good at what she does. Let her be her and let her voice be heard. But you also need Matt Hardy to guide some soldiers as he tries to wake up the entire WWE Raw roster. So who do you do? Who do you go after? On the Raw roster, there's nobody to do. There's nobody to pick from. So my decision, Sanity. You bring up Eric Young, Killian Dane, and Alexander Wolf. You don't need Nikki Cross because she's still going to be really good no matter where she's at. You bring those three guys up following a leader in broken Matt Hardy, and you make their storylines as unique and dangerous as possible. Matt Hardy is a born leader. He is a born spokesman on the mic, and the other three guys can follow in the footsteps of one Matt Hardy. Now, don't make it the Wyatt Family 2.0. You do not need that, but you need something unique, something more different. And that's why Sanity coming up to the main roster, keeping a similar gimmick, twisted a little bit to help Matt Hardy is the best decision to go. And don't fear, NXT will not lose much, even though Sanity has been one of their biggest and most consistent guys in the entire company. That tag team division is continuing to grow and continuing to develop. Tino Sabatini and Riddick Moss, the Street Profits, the Authors of Pain, the NXT Tag Team Champions, who you saw change hands with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, they have enough talent to hold fort. So my thoughts, if you want Sanity to make a big impact and to be beloved the first day on the main roster, what better way than a woken or broken Matt Hardy? Yes! Delete! I am so excited for it. And I'm so excited to see what Matt Hardy does at the end of 2017 and in 2018. Now, I know, Justin LaBar, you're ready to go in studio. Tell me, Justin, I feel like you're waiting or questioning who Brock Lesnar should face at the Royal Rumble.
Thank you, Josh. I am wondering. We're all wondering. Royal Rumble, you got to have your Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar. And who do we fight? Who do we see step up? We've seen Braun Strowman already. We've seen Samoa Joe. We've seen The Undertaker. We know that they're going to go back around to Roman Reigns likely for WrestleMania, but you need to fill out the January show with Brock, so who does he fight? Number one that I keep hearing amongst the internet is Finn Balor. We talked about Finn already some this weekend. It just doesn't work, people. It just does not work, nor does it make sense. Everything from a size standpoint to what you want to get out of the match, what offensive Finns do I want to see, or will I believe Brock Lesnar is going to sell? It's not a damnation of Finn Balor. It's just Brock Lesnar is such a unique cast in WWE. He is booked more real than anybody else, and rightfully so. He's a former UFC champion. So you have to be very careful about who you put in there, and of course you don't want to put him in there with somebody who he could seriously damage credibility. They did a good job with the next name I'm going to bring up, AJ Styles. Now, AJ Styles fought Brock Lesnar in Survivor Series. This worked because it fit in with the Raw vs. SmackDown deal. Now, I had my doubts about this, some of the same questions, size difference, what am I going to believe from offensive AJ for Brock to sell, but they managed to do the match and choreograph it as perfectly as you could while still getting accomplished what you needed to get accomplished. Brock retained the title. He looked dominant, just mauling AJ, but AJ looked resilient, taking it, getting a few big shots in there. AJ walked out of the match, I would say, with even more credibility. We all still know that Brock Lesnar is the beast, but AJ Styles proved that he's a good world title champion for the blue brand of SmackDown, which leads me to who the answer I think should be. Pro wrestling is all about booking and positioning. You could put me in the ring if you get me booked for the right way for a couple months. I could go up against Brock. All right, well, maybe not. But you know what I'm saying. It's all about positioning. You can make people believe whatever you want to put out in front of them and make them believe. It really comes down to size when you're talking about a guy who can go up against Brock Lesnar. So, disregarding all the names that Brock's fought in the last 2 years, many of whom I named at the top of this segment, I would have to say, let's try a guy like Cesaro. Cesaro is 6'5". He's probably pound for pound the strongest guy on the roster. He's very lean looking. He's not bulky, but he's got a lot of athleticism, he's got a lot of agility, he's got a lot of strength, and he's got a lot of believability to the fans. Of course, he's in a tag team right now, but if you started to position Cesaro with a string and weeks of wins, real serious, credible wins, even shoot some old classic WWF-style vignettes showing the real strength that the Swiss Superman has, that could start to work. That could then make you go, you know what? I want to see this. On the marquee, on the visual graphic, I want to see what's going to happen when Brock Lesnar gets in the ring with Cesaro. Cesaro also has a history with Paul Heyman. There's something there. And look, by the end of December, Cesaro is going to be 37 years old. That's not a young man in the days of pro wrestling and WWE. So this could be one last great effort to get Cesaro a great rub by surviving, being able to walk out on his own power, a match on one of the big 4 pay-per-views with Brock Lesnar. Brock will still walk out as champion and go on to do what he has to do at WrestleMania. Cesaro can walk out with even more credibility in WWE, and perhaps 2018 could be the best year for Cesaro in his career. Wrestling Inc. every single weekend. We're happy you're here with us. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like, tell a friend, do what you got to do. We'll see you next week.